Buying or selling a home is one of the most important decisions you'll make in your entire life. Call the Holly Ritchie team today for a free market analysis.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Spanning the Need. I am your host, Anthony Spano, Stories of Your Lifestyle. And joining us during these episodes will be profiling nonprofits throughout our area, Trumbull, Mahoning, and Columbiana counties. Tonight, to join us for our first profiling is Lori Shanner, Animal Welfare League of Trumbull County. Lori, thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.
I finally got it right. We're moving forward.
We got this.
as we've tried to technical difficulties before, but we're getting there.
We got it.
Lori, talk about how you got started with this organization.
So I came to Animal Welfare League in April of 2019. I've been in nonprofit work my whole career since I graduated from YSU with my undergrad. And this opportunity presented itself here with Animal Welfare League. I've always been an animal lover, an animal owner. I kind of had a dream in the back of my head of a retirement plan of opening a hospice for senior dogs when I retired. And when the opportunity presented itself, I said, you know what, maybe I can actually make a difference right now and not have to wait till retirement. And almost 3 years later, here I am.
Well, and so a lot of people, there's a lot of great organizations out there in the nonprofit. What does your nonprofit organization do in general?
So our nonprofit organization in general, we rescue, rehabilitate, adopt, and educate. That is our mission, 4 words. We are out in the community. We are the Humane Society for Trumbull County. So we have a team of folks who are going out and investigating allegations of cruelty and neglect, as well as if those are founded, we prosecute to the fullest extent of the law. Sorry, my phone is ringing.
Hey,
and then we also obviously rehabilitate. So we bring those animals and others, sick and injured, owner surrenders, things like that. We bring those into our shelter. We work to get them healthy and happy again. We adopt them out into new, loving, forever homes. And then we work to educate the community on the needs of animals, on what it means to be a good pet owner. I always talk about, there is the law of owning a pet, and then there is the good standard of owning a pet. And what we do is we work to bring people from just the bare minimum of the law and bridge this gap so that all of those animals are living up here and that really ideal situation.
What is your most successful program, and why do you think that is?
We have a number of successful programs. Right now, I would say our busiest program is our pet food pantry. Many people are struggling financially right now with the costs of pretty much everything.
Right.
And so we have a pet food pantry that serves the people of Trumbull, the pet owners of Trumbull County, to help them kind of, again, bridge that gap, get them through a month or two with pet food, with cat litter, with, all of those things, just to alleviate that a little bit. Many people who truly love their pets, if it came down to it, they would choose to put food in their own pet's bowl than on their own table. Or maybe they would take that meal that they were going to sit down and eat and cut it in half and give half of it to their pet. So this helps them to put food in their pet's bowls so that they can keep themselves, their family fed also. We also have a program, the Harnet's Caring Companions in Crisis program, in which we help pet owners who their pets are facing life-threatening medical emergencies. We help to get them into a veterinarian, and then in many cases, we help to cover a large portion of the cost to save, so that way, that program helps to keep pet owners from having to choose euthanasia as a more affordable option for their pet. And so again, with just the way people are struggling financially right now, that program has also been very, very busy.
What is the best example that you've seen since you've been there that can really shows that your organization made a difference?
I am fortunate because I get to see those things almost every day. We always talk about as when you come into Animal Welfare League, if you've ever been in our facility, we have a very long ramp that comes from the upstairs to the downstairs area. And, there's many times you'll see our staff gathered around our reception area watching a particular animal walk up that ramp to their new home. And those are those success stories. You know, when we bring an animal in, it wasn't that long ago, we worked with the Trumbull County PD and took on a very large dog fighting operation. And many of those dogs ended up going on to homes through the work of our staff. And, you know, as we stood there and watched one of those dogs walk up that ramp to a new home and felt good that, you know, it was a safe dog, it was a relatively healthy dog. And the people knew what this dog's background was, the things to watch for and trainers to work with, and just setting those animals up for success. That's the thing that makes us know that we're doing good work.
Is there anything that you wish kind of more people knew about your organization in the community, or issues that you're trying to solve as a nonprofit?
You know, right now, the animal welfare industry as a whole, I talk to people around the state and around the country in some cases, and the animal welfare industry as a whole is almost approaching a state of crisis. Between the shortage of veterinarians around the country and the inability to get your animals, not only owned animals, but the animals here at the shelter, get them into a veterinarian for the care that they need. It's drastic, and in some cases, it is life-threatening. And the veterinarians are doing the best that they can. They are overworked, understaffed, and just trying to do everything they can. But the amount of animals living in atrocious conditions right now is alarming. It is the worst that people who have been in this industry for 20 years have ever seen. And we don't know why that is. A lot of us have speculations, but we really don't know why. So I think the biggest thing that I hope people would learn about AWL and the other organizations doing the work we're doing is that we can't do it without you. It's that if you see something, say something. If you think an animal's in trouble, call your county's Humane Society. If you are worried about an animal, call us. We will go out and check. All of those things. If you're in the position to financially support AWL or another animal organization, now is the time, because we need the resources desperately.
So we look at it as kind of, what are some of the, we talked a little bit about kind of what people want to know about your organization, but I know you mentioned maybe one or two obstacles about funding. What are kind of the ones that stand out to you in your mission, and how do you kind of plan to overcome that because of the difficulties that are just the whole environment is in the state of Ohio?
Sure. So one of the big things that we're seeing, particularly in Trumbull County, but I know there is definitely some bleed over into Mahoning County as well, is the feral cat population. It is a never-ending battle of controlling the feral cat population. Of course, the easy solution is spay neuter. Get the animals spayed and neutered, re-release them out into the community so that at least they stop reproducing. The problem is there isn't an organization out there that is doing that on a mass scale. We have TNR of Warren. They're doing a great job and doing everything they can, but they can't do it all themselves. You know, and there's some other groups around that are doing it, again, on a smaller scale, doing the absolute best that they can. But we need a widespread solution for this area, for Trumbull, Mahoning County, to take on the feral cat population and get these animals spayed and neutered, re-release them, and you know, slow down the growth, because it is becoming a never-ending battle.
So what is the need right now for your organization? What are you looking for as we get to Giving Tuesday, which is only a couple weeks away? What are some of those top priorities for your organization right now?
Sure. I would say we probably have three top priorities right now. The first one of those is donations. So that is multiple facets, not only monetary donations, of course, but donations of pet food, pet supplies, all of those types of things. AWL is also fortunate. We have a thrift store that is our single largest fundraiser. So we take donations of clothing, gently used household goods, electronics, things like that, so your junk that you don't want turns into money to support the animal shelter. And so, you know, if you're cleaning out your closets, if you're cleaning out your basement and you have some things that are, you know, gently used, still in pretty good condition, consider taking them to the menagerie in Howland. The next is support. So what does that look like? That looks like sharing our social media posts. That looks like if you're in the position and you're thinking about adding an animal to your family, go to a shelter first, come to AWL, come to all of the other shelters in this area, and find your new family member in a shelter and not at a breeder. Because there's plenty of animals in shelters that are great animals in shelters that are looking for forever homes. And then the third is, I would say, social consciousness. That kind of, if you see something, say something. Many people, they don't want to get in other people's business, and they don't want to cause trouble. I appreciate that. I don't either, but the animals don't have a voice. And if somebody doesn't make us aware of the problem, then we can't fix the problem. And a lot of time the problem is connecting people to resources, to programs, it's education. It's not removing the animals. That is always our last option. So it's connecting them with our pet food pantry, connecting them through our spay neuter program that we have, getting them the support that they need to get the problem under control, so that they can continue to be good, loving pet owners.
How can someone donate or get more involved with your organization?
So you can donate on our website, awlrescueme.com. We have a donate button right there on the website. You can always stop in. We have walk-in hours Tuesday through Friday from 3 to 6 and Saturday noon to 4. So you can stop in and check it out. And if you'd like to inquire about volunteering, the application for that is also right on our website at awlrescueme.com.
Lori, I appreciate you taking time. I know you got a lot going on because we're right in the middle of the holiday season.
Yeah. End of the year, it's always keeping us busy, isn't it?
Anytime keeps us busy.
That's true.
As much as we've worked together in a lot of different avenues. Well, after each, I like to talk to my guests. I kind of have some quick rapid fire questions.
Gotcha.
Fun questions.
All right, perfect. Let's do it.
I think they're fun.
Okay.
The answer, there's no right or wrong answer. So you ready?
Okay.
What's your best accomplishment?
This job. Always wanted to be a CEO. It was a dream since my undergraduate.
Okay. Who's your role model?
I have probably two role models. The first is Karen Conklin. She has been a director at a number of nonprofits. She's been a mentor of mine, since I was in my early 20s. And I just, the way she approaches things and thinks about things, I just always try to kind of emulate that. Or I just call her and say, Karen, help.
Wealth of knowledge.
Wealth of knowledge, absolutely. And I would say my second role model would probably be my mom. So she has faced a wealth of health conditions over her entire life. And it is something that she's worked very hard for a lot of years to keep a positive attitude about and still really try and live her best life. So I try and remember that every day that, oh boy, I'm turning a year older, I'm having a bad day, but guess what? It could be worse.
Oh, yeah. Old is
better to turn a year older than not turn a year older at all.
I agree. Last question. If there was one person you'd want to meet, past or present, who would it be and why?
I am going to have to go Freddie Mercury.
Okay.
I appreciate him as an artist, but I just always feel like there's so much more to his life than maybe what we ever knew. And I just love to sit down and have a drink with him in a conversation and just see what came up, see what happened.
Well, Lori, I appreciate you taking time. I know you're busy. Stay on. Everyone, we appreciate you tuning in. Hopefully you continue to stay on as we continue to profile nonprofits. This is Lori Chandler from Animal Welfare League of Trumbull County. Thank you, Lori.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the continuing edition of Spinning the Need, Stories of Your Lifestyle, as we are profiling nonprofits and organizations that are doing good in the community. Today, again, we have Scott Lewis, the Brightside Project. Scott, thank you for joining us. I know we've been trying to catch up.
We have. Thank you, Anthony, for asking me to be on. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. Talk about how you got started with the organization.
We got started with the organization back in 2016. We saw my daughter, Lisa, who is co-director. We saw a need. It was back in, I think I saw a house in Sebring, a family that the police raided the house. Parents were doing meth. Kids were in the next room, and it really touched me. It really, really touched me. And so that's why we started the Brightside, to help those kids that are in homes where they don't have a choice. We also know there's a lot of children dealing with trauma. So it's not necessarily that their parents are doing drugs or anything like that. They're just dealing with a lot of situations. And I think we started the Brightside because I wanted to help those kids that didn't have a choice. And that's who we're helping now.
Tell us a little bit about your organization and what you guys do.
We basically we are a food pantry. We help with food. Parents can bring kids into our facility twice a month. They can get food. We can do personal care. We help them with books. We are the Columbiana County affiliate for the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. So we have almost 3,000 kids every month that are receiving a book in the mail from us, from Dolly Parton, through us. And so we are very excited about that because that promotes the literacy. And so we're always giving out books at our facility. We do the Bright Easter. We give Easter baskets out for kids. We're gearing up for Bright Christmas right now. We are doing 2 this year. We're doing Bright Christmas South, which is at Wellsville at Garfield Elementary on December 10th. And then we're also doing Bright Christmas North, which is at our facility in Salem on Saturday, December 17th. So it's a way of getting more kids. The need in the rural areas is so great, and those kids can't get to us. And so we're going to them. But everything we do is for choices. The kids get to make the choice. They walk with a volunteer. They choose their food. They choose their toys. Whatever it is that we're passing out, whatever we're doing, mom and dad sign them up. Mom and dad wait in an area for them, and then the kids get to do it. And it's all about building resiliency with the kids as well.
What's kind of your most successful program, and why do you think it's successful?
Well, first of all, the Dolly Parton Imagination Library is a successful program. That's reaching out to kids ages birth through 3 or 5 years old, excuse me. And I know that's successful because that's straight across the board. They don't have to be living in a situation. They don't have to be poverty kids. All parents have to do is sign their kids up for those books. That's a successful one for us. But I think our other one is the food pantry. I think it's feeding these kids because we just, this Thursday, we'll finish up our coat giveaway, and where we size the kids, and we don't always get those sizes correct, but we're willing to give them the right size that they need. But I think it's because there's a need out there, and I think we're strictly doing it for the kids. I used to say that people would give to an animal charity over helping people or anything because the dogs and the pets don't have a choice. And so I think right now is why we're doing what we're doing and we're growing, is because we are helping the kids and they don't have a choice right now. The biggest program that we've got coming up right now that is on the horizon, and that is the Sunshine Bus, and that's going to be the game changer for us in the southern part of the county.
We talk about these successful programs. Give an example of the way you've seen your organization work and make a difference.
I just know that we see the kids are excited to come in. They keep referring to it as the Sunshine Building. They're just excited because they know they can come in and we're going to give them hope. We see a lot of grandparents right now getting custody of their grandchildren. And so we see a lot of them because financially they're not in a good spot. And do we give them a lot of food? No, but we give them food that they can fix. We give them perishable items, we give them non-perishable items, and we give them the personal care, but we're also giving them some attention. And I think we're giving them, they're just seeing them building relationships with our volunteers and with Lisa and I. And they like coming in to do that. And I think it's stability in their life for a little while.
Is there anything that you wish more people knew about your organization or the issues that you're trying to solve?
It's only two of us with some volunteers, so it's hard to do everything we want to do. And we just want people to know we care about the kids. We're never going to hurt anybody. We want people to know we're doing it because I care about those kids, and I feel bad for those kids because they didn't have the choice. We have the kids growing up in the low-income housing, and for whatever reason, mom and dad or whoever's taking care of those kids are in, and I see it, but they don't have that choice. And if we don't give them some hope and try to build resiliency with them now, they don't have a chance to getting out of the situation they're in. And I think they can do it. And I think that's a very key part with Lisa and I, is that we want to do that. We can't do everything we want to do, but by doing it and feeding them and building their trust, and still promoting literacy with them all, because you know what, we see some adults that don't know how to read. And so we just need that in this world.
What are some of the main obstacles? You talked a little bit about that. It's just you and Lisa and everything. And what are some of the main obstacles that stand between you and your mission, and how do you plan to kind of overcome those?
Good question. A very good question. And I think just the obstacles is that we're working very hard with like our volunteer program. Everybody wants to volunteer, and we're limited on volunteers because of what we do. We have great partners, Anthony. We have some great organizations out there, some great businesses that help us do what we do. It's right now we've grown so much in the past year, and that could be a good or a bad obstacle, I guess, but we're working through it. Lisa and I are now there both 35 hours a week. So we're working on those things. We have a wonderful board of directors. And so like I had mentioned, the Sunshine Bus is the key to where we're doing, and that comes on hopefully in the next couple of weeks. But that will be doing what we do in Salem. That will be going on the road, and we'll be partnering with schools and going right into the low-income housing developments and feeding these kids. That is trying to get that figured out right now is a big one for me, because so it actually comes. It's like when we got the building, we didn't know what we were going to be doing when we started Brightside, how it was all going to go, but we put it in God's hands. And so we're working out some of those kinks. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Well, I
don't.
Yeah, hey, I get it. What is the need right now for your organization? As we talk about that, we're a couple weeks from Giving Tuesday and kind of the holidays. What is your biggest need right now?
I think our biggest need right now is financial support. And Lisa's great with going after grants. We're trying very hard because we have that. And I think one of the things to sometimes with a nonprofit is people think, oh, well, you both are there full time. You know, you're making good money, or you're getting in money to pay for it. But, you know, like my salary is donated through a person that believes I should be there. So he donates that salary. Lisa gets a lot of hers from grants that she writes through programs that we do. So we always need that financial support, and people don't understand it with a nonprofit is that it takes a lot. It takes a lot. And we were doing this as working full-time jobs and doing this on the side. And so it just takes a lot to do that. And so financially right now going into Christmas, toys, we're seeing a big need. There's just a very big need out there, and we don't help. The kids get to choose a couple toys from us, and no, we don't wrap them up and we don't drop them off under the tree or whatever, but the kids get to come in and choose those toys and do their own shop and pick out their stocking stuffer bag. And we do that because we want those kids we want to build a relationship with those kids. And sometimes just having them make a choice, we're teaching them some things as they grow older and go into life.
How can someone donate or get more involved? Where do they go?
You can donate on our website. You can go to the brightsideprojectohio.org and donate. You can call us at the Brightside. We are now set up to take credit cards and debit cards at the Brightside, and you can make that donation over the phone. You can send a monetary donation to Post Office Box 314, Salem, Ohio 44460. If you want to get volunteer, you can go on our website, and we do have a volunteer form. And I just ask that people be patient with us. We are working very hard on our volunteer program and trying to find a volunteer to oversee that volunteer program, because Lisa and I have so many hats that we're wearing right now. Everybody wants to get involved right now because it's the Christmas season, and I understand that, and I appreciate everybody that does. But we also have some companies that are partners with us, and so they're sending us groups of people to help. And I will never, ever say no to people, but I just want people to be patient. But you can go on our website and find out a lot about us, or follow us on Facebook.
Scott, I appreciate your time. I know you're busy during the holiday season. At the end of each show, I like to ask some fun questions with our guests, just to kind of get so the audience can understand and get to know you. You ready?
I'm ready.
What's your best accomplishment?
Well, my best accomplishment, I would say, is my family, because, you know, I've been married 41 years and have 3 terrific girls, and they're all involved some way or another with the Brightside. I have to say also the Brightside would be an accomplishment. I mean, I have a wife that is very patient and has a good job and puts up with a lot from me, and we've helped a lot of kids, whether it was whether it's the Brightside or it's the nonprofit I had years ago. It's just I don't know why. It's just it's helping kids. That is what I think my accomplishments would be, because as I get older, getting ready to retire, and Lisa will take over she'll take over everything. But it's just something about helping these kids, and I feel bad for them. So the Brightside would be an accomplishment as well.
Nothing wrong with that. Who's your role model?
Well, you know, I had a role model years ago. She was a wonderful lady. She had a nonprofit in Detroit, Focus Hope. And I can remember seeing her at a leadership conference and said, I'm going to meet that lady. And I put a phone call into her. And I actually got a hold of her, and she became a very dear friend, mentored me, and just taught me a lot. She has passed away since, and I wish she was alive to see the bright side, to see that I'm still going at it. But she mentored me in a lot. You know, she went through it, and she dealt with in the riots in Detroit. She was just a lady that, I mean, I've just never met anybody like her. So I would have to put her up there as a mentor for me.
And last question, if there was one person you would want to meet, past or present, who would it be and why?
Geez, Anthony, you're asking some tough ones here.
Oh, come on.
Come on. Well, you know, we got to see Dolly Parton here in Columbus here a couple months ago, and I got to listen to her. And I guess she would be one that I would love to sit down with. I didn't get to meet her personally. We were a few tables in front of her. We got to hear her speak. But I would love to have her come to the Brightside. I would love to sit and talk to her. And just because she's a person that has not forgotten her roots. She remembers what it was like, and she's out there giving back. She's just one of those ladies that what she's done with the whole Imagination Library, as well as being the singer that she is and being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame last weekend or 2 weekends ago. She hasn't forgot her roots, and she's true to that, and people love her. And I guess so. To just sit down and have a one-on-one conversation with her would be great.
Scott, I appreciate your time. I know we've been trying to go back and forth, so I'm glad you were able to be on. Everyone, thank you. And we continue to profile nonprofits. If you want to see more podcast shows or events, please go to SpaningTheNeed.com. Scott, stay on, everyone. Have a good night. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Spanning the Need as we continue profiling local nonprofits doing good in our communities. Today, got a friend of mine, Charles Chip Colvin. He's a board member of City Kids Care. Chip, always a pleasure, my man.
What's going on, buddy? How are you?
Oh, it's good. It's one of those, we're literally coming up on the holidays, so it'll be here and be gone very quickly.
Quickly.
Yeah. As a board member, you're doing a lot of good things supporting what they're doing. So talk a little bit about how you got started with the organization.
Let's see. So probably about, I want to say 8 or 9 years ago now, I just, was admiring the work that Brandon Perry was doing in the community. I was traveling DJing, and I was just seeing him, just continue to pour in, when he would have time from the military to come back home. And I reached out to him originally just for a shirt. I was like, hey, man, I want a City Kids Care shirt. And then we actually missed each other. I think I missed the meeting or the appointment, and we were kind of playing phone tag. And so from there, we just kind of, I ended up getting my shirt, and we, talked, and Brandon stayed consistent. So the organization stayed consistent in what they were doing. And so I was intrigued by that. And so from there, it was like, Brandon and I start to form a relationship, a friendship, and I was like, well, hey, man, you guys need some DJs, you need some music, and, or do you need anything? And I just started to support and volunteer and donate my time. And, now we're here all these years later, where I had the privilege of sitting on the board. I was one of our first staff members over the enrichment programming we do with the local school districts. I also was our community outreach director for about 3 years before taking another role. So I've been entrenched with the organization for a while. Time does fly, but amazing organization, and I was inspired, which is why I'm here today.
T-shirt turns into a long-lasting relationship.
Yeah, for sure.
Talk about what the nonprofit actually does, so people understand what City Kids Care actually is.
So it stemmed from just offering, in essence, a getaway for the kids. That's what it started as. It started as just, organization trying to give back and give the kids, just a breath of fresh air. We're all Youngstown kids. We grew up here, and I would say when we were growing up, there were a lot more organizations that had fun stuff for us to do, especially in the summertime. As we got older, I think those things start to go away. And so Brandon saw a void that needed filled rather quickly, and he also, he would mention, if you would talk to him, he would talk about the things that he was doing in the military and how they would go out in communities, wherever he was stationed, and support organizations or local youth charities and things like that. So he was inspired from that, and then he saw the void that needed to be filled in our local community right here in Youngstown. So I think that's basically where it stemmed from, and then from there it became, okay, we would host an annual event. I think the first event that I got a chance to see was event in remembrance. I think it was a back to school event for the passing of his brother. Brandon's brother passed away. And so that was one of the first events that I was able to see. And that was a back to school kind of a picnic. And then, that spiraled into, free field trips. And that's kind of where the organization got its, I think, popularity from the free events and free field trips. Because to me, it was unheard of. You didn't really see an organization, one, with the reach that City Kids Care has, but something free. So, there's
not many very free things.
Yeah. And
hey, we're going here on this field trip. Okay, how much does it cost? It's free.
It doesn't cost anything. And at that time, there was no, it was really not a lot of infrastructure. This is Brandon operating the organization from his phone and iPad, and just, hey, I'm coming up with this idea, and then we're doing it, and so
what kind of field trips? What were some of the field trips?
So you have your normal things. So like the summer events, picnics, back to school giveaways. You have extreme air skating events. Skating events. Our Halloween skating event was a huge staple. You're talking about 1,000 kids, and we would give away huge prizes for costumes. A lot of creative costumes. I would say our biggest one is the annual Disney trip. So every year we take a group of scholars to Disney. This is going on 11 years now. So a group of kids we take and take them to Disney every year. This year we actually we are doing it twice. So we did it already, and we're taking another group here shortly in the next month or so. So that's kind of where the public started to gravitate. And from there, it just expanded. Our wonderful partnership with Youngstown City Schools grew from there. That's how we were able to start our partnership with Youngstown City Schools. We were doing free field trips, and from there, you're building relationships with parents. So
right.
We're mentoring, students and not even realizing this mentorship.
Right.
We're collaborating with parents. And honestly, I'll be honest, before City Kids Care, I can't say that I was volunteering that many hours in the community. I mean, if someone asked me to, but I can say because of City Kids Care, myself personally have been consistently active in volunteering in the community for the last 9 years.
And we talk about those. What's your kind of most? And you talked about a little bit about events and free things that you've been providing to kids. And what seems to be your most successful program, and why do you think that's successful?
So out of the many programs, we have a lot of programs. I would say our free event program is successful, but I would say our wraparound services program with Youngstown City Schools, and this is why I will say that. So you got to look at it from. I look at it from one, the impact that we're having on the district, the impact that we're having on the students. So I'm going into where now we have students that have come through our program that are in college. So we're talking from an elementary school through junior high school, through high school to college style of how much we've had our impact on these children in Youngstown. So our enrichment program is what I would say our program with the city schools, because we're there sun up to sundown with these students. The district has really supported us in being in the schools. The teachers, the principals depend on us to support them in molding these students year after year. And the reason why I say not just that is our staff. We have a massive staff. And so when you talk about being able to offer employment, you're offering mentorship, and you're offering just an overall wraparound services for youth in the community, that's economic development. That's stimulating the economy on top of keeping education at the top of all of that. So I would say our school program is one of our best programs because of the impact that it has in the area. It's a multi-level impact on the area. So I would say that's probably our biggest impact in program. We also have a summer program that we're doing with the district as well.
Well, we know the holidays are coming up. We're a couple weeks away from Giving Tuesday and a lot of different things. Is there anything that you wish more people knew about the organization, or that issues you're trying to solve in the community?
I would say that's a good question. Let me see here. Let me make sure I think. I would say that, that's a good question. I think a lot of people know about the organization, but it's never enough, and I think one of the things that, we talk about, and one of the things that I had to learn was one organization is not going to be able to solve all the problems. I think effective partnerships and collaborations are key, because we can't do it all, and Brandon would probably be like, we can. And I think we've had a tremendous impact, but I'd be naive to say we need strategic partners to really, really get our people in a better position. And that's our goal. We want to be able to, gift parents homes. We talked about, having the opportunity to partner with, car dealerships to be able to give vehicles to our parents. Transportation is a big issue that we have with parents, to the effects that we just launched our own transportation services to help with some of the transportation issues that we see our families have. So I would say strategic partnerships to help leverage resources, that at the end of the day, none of these things are free. And so we need those resources to continue to do the great things that we're doing. It's not going to stop us by any means. I
don't think it will.
It's never going to stop us. But I call on some of those organizations that get, the national support to say, dig a little deeper and learn what we're doing here in Youngstown, Ohio, and how can we partner and collaborate for the greater good in the community. And not just to say we're collaborating, or not just for another check on a grant application. No, let's really dig in and get to know these children. These are, I feel like I got, a ton of mentees running around. I'm watching our students graduate, and to see that, we've had an impact on, these children for the last 11 years, it's an amazing feeling.
What are some, like we talked about strategic partnerships. You've talked a little bit about that on the Organization for City Kids Care. What are some of the main obstacles that you think stand in kind of the way in your mission, and how do you kind of overcome that? Because you look at that no matter if it's a nonprofit, it could be money, it could be resources, it could be staffing, need more staffing. What seems to be the main obstacles that stand in your way to make sure that you're very successful?
At this point, I will say, I don't feel like there are too many barriers stopping us from our mission right now, because we've grown and grown our footprint to something tremendous. So I won't say there's many things stopping us from our mission, but there is things that may delay. It can delay us reaching some goals, and resources is one of those things. But I don't think that anything is stopping us from reaching the goals. We're a really, really, it's a great group of board members, and everyone is doing amazing things in their own space. And when we come together, we brainstorm, and you'd be surprised the magic that we make for these children, and not just for the children. Like we're doing things, right now it's Thanksgiving season. We're about to adopt about 50 families to provide the essentials for their Thanksgiving meal. We've done coat drives in the past. We just had a huge bike giveaway event in the summer that we collaborated with Loud 102.3 radio station in the city. So there are some things, I think, if we can expand upon the things that we're doing. So we had, another partner. So instead of us just providing 50 meals, we can provide 500.
Right.
Now, that's, scaling to that. But I don't think we have a lot of barriers in the way.
And I think this follows up to that is the holidays are huge for a lot of people, no matter Christmas, Thanksgiving. And we mentioned Giving Tuesday in a couple weeks, right after Thanksgiving. What is the need right now for your organization? What would you need right now for your organization that you can tell people?
We need space. Donate some land to us. That's something we're talking about. Donate some property. We would love to have a donated facility to where we can start to house some of these programs. Any of you large organizations out there, if you have an old building, a warehouse or some land, we need garages to park our transportation vehicles. That's the type of, that's where we're going to the next level. We have a current facility, but we want to grow. We want a space that we can basically, offer programming to our children, have them come to our facilities, and somewhere safe for them day in and day out. So if anybody's listening and you have some real estate, you hear the stories that these old buildings get donated for $1, or, they get donated. We're an organization that is really on the ground and pushing our mission and doing some great things in the community. So I would say, if any organization is want to donate a building to us, we'd love that right now.
Totally get it. Got to expand what you're trying to do.
100%. 100%.
How can someone donate or get involved with your organization?
Visit our website. You can go directly to our website, citykidscare.org. We have a link on there, and shout out to our donors. We have donors that have been donating to us since the start of this, and I don't want to go any further without just thanking them. We're an organization, we're a nonprofit 501c3, and so more dollars are always helpful. So I want to say thank you to our donors, but they can visit citykidscare.org/donation. You can make a donation. We have donors that make monthly donations, biweekly donations, quarterly donations. So if you're looking to support an organization that is really on the ground and really doing the work, and the resources are going directly to the people, please get involved. And we always have great events where people can volunteer. So feel free to join us at any of our events. Our social media is consistent with putting information out there as far as what we're doing in the community and different field trips and events we have. So join us and be a part of the movement. We'll get you some gear. I know I'm not wearing a CKC
you're fine
right now, but
I appreciate you taking time. I know we got a lot going on, and talking with us. At the end of each show, I like to have some fun with my guests.
Okay. So,
and Brandon you can say, Brandon, you should have did this. So we'll just leave it at that. Okay. So I'm just basically, the answers is whatever you think it is. There's no right or wrong answer. It's each person's different. You ready?
I'm ready.
What's your best accomplishment?
My best accomplishment? My family, choosing my wife and building a family with her. She's been amazing. And I would say my wife and my children are my biggest accomplishment.
Okay. Who's your role model?
My role model. Ooh, this is a good one.
These are harder questions than the earlier ones, aren't they?
My role model. I have a lot of role models, man.
You can have a couple. There's nothing wrong with that.
My role model, man. So I would say one of my role models is Dr. Kevin Harris right now. Eric Thomas. I listen to Eric Thomas every morning. I would say role models. This is a good one, man.
You're gonna love the next question after that.
Yeah, this is a good one. I would say and Andrew Arnold. Those are my three. Okay. You probably don't know all those people, but those are my three current role models right now.
Nothing wrong with that. Okay, last question. If there was one person you would want to meet, past or present, who would it be and why?
Who would I want to meet?
Past or present?
I want to meet Jay-Z. I'm a huge fan of Jay-Z, but I'm a more of a fan of how he's used his resources and his stardom to do work for his community and his family. Jay-Z has laid the blueprint for a lot of people. No pun intended. I know he got the Blueprint albums, but he's been able to leverage his resources, and the things that he's done in the music business to not only put other people in the position, but leverage for his community and for his entire family. So I would want to sit down with Hove.
Okay, nothing wrong with that. Yeah, appreciate it. I appreciate you taking time, Chip. Thank you for what you and Brandon and your whole organization
Brandon does in the organization. I'm just a supporting member, man. But it's really Brandon. Happy Veterans Day too, out there to all the veterans. Brandon
exactly.
Is
appreciate it. Stay on, Chip. But we thank everyone as we continue to showcase and profile nonprofits in the area. We hope you will consider all nonprofits and really working with everyone. So if you have any more, if you want to check out more stories, podcasts, or these profiles of these nonprofits, please go to our website, spanningtheneed.com. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the continuing Spanning the Need as we profile nonprofits doing good in our communities in the Mahoning Valley. As we continue, we're going to be with here Jayla Forrest from Inspiring Minds. Jayla, thank you for joining me.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
And as we talk about nonprofits, you kind of come from that nonprofit from start to finish. And
yes.
And we look at Inspiring Minds in Trumbull County and a variety of other areas in the Mahoning Valley. Talk about how you got started within the organization.
So I got started in my freshman year of high school. I had a few friends who were in Inspiring Minds, and they would be talking about all of the places that they would go and all the experiences that they had. And I was really intrigued. So I decided to ask them if I can get an application. And I applied and I got in. So
that easy.
Yeah. And actually,
it sounds that easy.
Yeah, like they have like a waiting list, but luckily I wasn't too far in the waiting list, so I was able to get in.
And what made you inspire to be involved? You talked about going to all these different places. What did you find out while doing your research for Inspiring Minds?
Well, I found out that they would go to different states. They would travel to different colleges and expose children to many different career fields, which is something that I never had a chance to do without Inspiring Minds. So it was interesting just seeing like and listening to everyone else's experience. I was like, oh, I would love to do that. Like, that's just something that I would be willing to do just to basically expand my horizons.
Right. You talked a little bit about that part. Now you've been fully involved in the organization for quite some time. From what I've talked to some people about, is what other than what you just talked about, what other things does the organization do that people aren't aware of?
So the organization, I would say they offer tutoring. They also offer a lot of mentorship as well for the children who are a part of that. Which is just really great because for me, growing up, like I didn't really have too much exposure to other things. So I was able to like get involved and like get help with my, like certain subjects in schools, and then also just get more advice from older people who are in positions that I wanted to be in. So.
What do you think one of the most successful programs are with Inspiring Minds?
I think that's really hard to answer, just because I feel like overall, the program itself has helped so many students. They have a 100% rate in graduation. So every student who attends Inspiring Minds is on track to graduate and will graduate. So I feel like that the organization overall is just successful. I can't say that there's just one point, you know?
Right. And we talk about that you're an example of that product.
Yes.
And when you've now been involved and you're getting ready to graduate college, what have you given a best example that you've seen now on the opposite end that's really seen the organization make a difference?
I would just say the growth. I have watched Inspiring Minds expand from it being just in the Warren Youngstown area to it growing to different chapters. Now there are 5 chapters. So there's an Inspiring Minds in Philly. There's an Inspiring Minds in New York City. There's even Inspiring Minds in Raleigh and Durham, North Carolina. So I just love seeing how much they've grown, and seeing that there are more children who are able to get these opportunities.
And is there anything that you wish more people knew about the organization, or that the issues that they're trying to solve that you would let people know about?
Yeah, so I noticed that growing up, I feel like a lot of people seem to think that just because, okay, so let me just back up. So when I was in Inspire Minds, there were mostly Black and brown children involved. I feel like a lot of people have this have this perspective of the program is only eligible for Black and brown students or students who are low income, but that's honestly not the truth. I feel like there are a lot of people who are steering away from Inspire Minds, who could steer away from Inspire Minds because of that. But it's like, no, every child should have this opportunity to endure in what we've endured in with Inspire Minds, you know? So I want people to know that anybody can join, anybody is willing to join. And I also just want people to be more open-minded about it as well.
And Derek Tolles, who we've both known, I've known for a very long time in the nonprofit, has been doing this for a very long time. Mm-hmm. And we look at that he was looking at a certain niche in certain communities.
Yeah.
What are some of the main obstacles right now that stand kind of between Inspiring Minds and your mission, and how do you kind of overcome those?
I feel like a lot of people might not, well, like I said, because of the fact that Inspiring Minds is mostly Black and brown children, I feel like they might not look at us in a certain light, which is really sad. Right. Just because I feel like children in Inspiring Minds, they are very talented, and they're very bright, and I feel like that they deserve a chance. So I wish that people knew more, and would be more open to like getting to know the children, or getting to know what Inspiring Minds does, and not just seeing it from a very, very small lens.
And we look at that now, we're kind of in the holiday season. Giving Tuesday's coming up, and a variety of different other road holidays through the end of the year. What do you think is the biggest need right now for your organization?
I don't know exactly how to answer that. I know that there are different ways that people can give back. So they can give back through donations. I know more tutors would be good. Also like volunteers and school supplies. And also just people who are able to give the students opportunities such as scholarships or internships, and also mentors as well.
And how would someone be able to donate or get more involved? Where would they go?
So you can actually visit iamyouth.org/giving. That is their website for if you would like to give donations, or if you would like to sign up to volunteer or anything else.
And then is there anything else that we haven't covered that you'd like people to know about the organization?
I would also like people to know that Inspiring Minds was founded in 2006, and we are going into our 17th year. So if you want to get to know any other facts about Inspiring Minds, or if you want to learn how to join, you can visit www.iamyouth.org.
Anything else about programs that you'd like to add, or we covered it all?
I think we covered it all today. Okay.
Well, I appreciate you joining us, Jayla, and everything, and I wish you the best of luck on graduation.
Thank you.
I actually, at the end of each show, I like to have some fun with my guests. These are, in my opinion, there's no right or wrong answer, but I've been disagreed at times. So
okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
What's your best accomplishment?
So my best accomplishment, I actually just, I can say a few. So I actually just published 2 of my articles, and they got picked up by Cleveland Scene magazine. And also one of my articles was nominated for an award at my school. So yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's great.
Thank
you. Great to hear. Who's your role model?
Ooh, that's a hard question. I I would say, I would have to say, this might sound a little cliche, but I would have to say mostly like any adult that I've come into communication with throughout my life. I feel like I've always gravitated towards older people more. They've been able to give me advice. They've been able to like guide me in a way. So I would say just all of my mentors and like, especially through Inspired Minds as well. So.
Okay, nothing wrong with that. Last question. If there was one person you would want to meet, past or present, who would it be and why?
I would have to say, So I would have to say the author Bell Hooks. She recently just passed away last year, but I would just really want to meet her just because I enjoy her writing. And I really would just love to know her process and like how her thought process is and like how she got to where she was, just because that's someone who the way she thinks is how I aspire to think. So yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. I appreciate you taking time, and I wish you and your organization the very best during this holiday season.
Thank you so much.
Stay on. If any of you would like to see more of these shows or events or even our stories, please go to spanningtheneed.com. Everyone, have a good night. Welcome to Spanning the Need. As we continue to spotlight our local nonprofits, we're joined by Shelly Marlowe of Project MKC. Thanks for joining us tonight, Shelly.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, and we've been talking a lot about nonprofits as Giving Tuesday is less than a couple weeks away, and I think this is a great opportunity as we profile numerous nonprofits across the area. Talk about how you got started within the organization.
Sure. So my mom, Jenny Kennedy, is actually the founder. So to make a very long story short, my mom had read an article in a Women's Day magazine about this woman who was putting birthday parties on for children in homeless shelters. I had graduated from YSU in December of 2009, and my sister-in-law, Jana, had graduated from Capital Law the same time. My mom came to us and she's like, "Do you think this is something we can do in the community here?" And we were like, "Yeah, let's try it out." So our very first program, so I actually got married in May of 2010. My brother and Jana got married in June of 2010, and then we started MKC in July of 2010. So
what a great honeymoon.
Kind of a whirlwind, but it's been amazing. So yeah, we started in July of 2010. So we just celebrated our 12-year anniversary. Our first program were birthday parties that we threw at the Beatitude House. Originally the Youngstown, Warren, and Ashtabula locations. We still do offer those. They've changed significantly over the years between their programming changing and COVID and all of the other things, but we do still offer that to the locations. And then, yeah, from there, we just kind of started reaching out to different organizations in the community. And instead of reinventing the wheel, we just started filling voids in the community where we were needed.
And let's build on that. What does your organization do in regards to programs?
Sure. So we have 4 staff members here. So it's myself, my sister-in-law, my brother, and my cousin Colleen. So we do not distribute to the public through our office at all. So we work with partner agencies in the community. We have about 65 of them in multiple counties in Northeast Ohio. So for instance, several Help Me Grows, Children's Services, Salvation Army, United Way, Beatitude House, St. Vincent de Paul. We have a multitude of partners. So once a month, they come to our office to pick up items for people that they serve. And that makes the most sense because, like I said, with a staff of 4, if we were to distribute directly to the community, we wouldn't be able to have as large of a reach as we do. So our largest programs would be our diaper bank. We actually are about to hit our 4 millionth diaper that we've distributed since the program started.
That's a lot of diapers.
It sure is. Well, 1 in 3 families cannot afford enough diapers for their child. That's not just local, that's a national statistic. So diaper need is something that we are very much trying to fight and hopefully alleviate that need in the future. So we're distributing about 80,000 to 100,000 diapers every month to our partners. So every time they come, they're able to receive diapers, wipes, toiletry kits, and then anything else that we have. We'll have coats, we have formula, anything that comes in from the community. We've received, last year, we distributed about 25,000 articles of clothing from a very large donation we received from Stitch Fix. So sometimes we don't know what we're going to get, but we have a lot of different ways that we're able to work with agencies in the community. I guess on top of the diaper bank, we also have a comfort kit program. They are large duffel bags. They're age and gender specific for children being removed from their homes and placed into foster care. So we work with 10 counties in Northeast Ohio. We work directly with the children's service agencies, and we take them a year's supply of comfort kits. That way, when they are removing a child from a home, they can take a bag that's specifically for that child directly to them. And that'll include pajamas, clothes, socks, full-size toiletries, games, books, snacks, a blanket made by our volunteers. A lot of the items that children leave with, we're told either the clothes on their back or a trash bag of belongings. To have this bag has been so incredible. We've heard from the children's service employees, and it means a lot to the kids.
Well, and that's a great thing is you have these great programs.
Right.
What is the best example that you can give that you've really seen your organization make a difference? I know you mentioned children's service, but what have you really seen as an?
So one really neat thing that we did as the diaper bank started growing, we're actually part of the National Diaper Bank Network. So we started collecting data and information from families every time that they receive diapers, and we are able to use that and input into our system and find out all kinds of really amazing things. For instance, we didn't realize, I don't think a lot of people realize with diapers comes so many other things. So if you can't provide enough diapers for daycare, you can't go to work. Your kid can't go, and then the cycle just continues. So being able to offer diapers to these families is allowing them to go to work. It's allowing them to go to school. It's helping keep their kids healthy. It's reducing stress by 75% for these families. So getting feedback like that and knowing what difference it's making, since you can't speak to these families necessarily one-on-one. One of our other programs that we have right now, it's a boot program. It's funded by the Italian Education Fund. We get a grant for it every year. So we provide about 800 pairs of boots to children in the community. That's something that we used to go and try the boots on the kids specifically for every year. And so along with the boots, each kid gets 6 pairs of Bombas socks. We've actually received about 300,000 pairs of Bombas socks. So when they say they give back, they do give back, and it comes.
You see those commercials. Yeah, you see those commercials. Yeah.
So when we used to try the boots on, some of these kids were wearing hand-me-downs from older brothers or sisters, had really holey or no socks at all on. So just knowing how much joy something as simple as a pair of boots can bring a child, and that's a very basic example. So when you're talking alleviating stress from families and providing something as simple as diapers or formula, just knowing the stress that you can take off of someone for something simple that we overlook every single day is really rewarding.
Well, especially as I know that as I have a 15-month-old, so I know we go through diapers and just everything like that. So I feel you on that. Yeah. Is there anything that you wish more people knew about your organization or the issues that you're trying to solve that, like you mentioned earlier, about specific gaps?
Sure. So I think it's easy to overlook basic necessities. I mean, we can go out. I mean, even when my kids were really little, I mean, I literally went out and would buy like 10 different types of bottles because I'm like, well, that one's not working. This isn't. Many families do not have that option. So just like I said, something as simple as like toiletries or like bath supplies, anything that you can provide to families that is extra, because a lot of them are struggling with paying a bill over purchasing these things that are basic everyday needs for a child. So one really unique thing about our organization, we have 2 private donors who fund our payroll expenses and rent for the building. So when we say 100% of every penny donated goes back to our programming, we mean that 100% of it does. So the dollar here is stretched so far because we have the ability to do that. And obviously, if you're purchasing more, you're getting more of a discount.
Correct.
We really can do so much with the dollar. And we're super grateful for that.
Well, and you're one of the very few organizations that have that capabilities.
Absolutely. You know how lucky we are.
Yeah. What are the kind of like some obstacles that kind of stand between you and your mission? Like, how do you plan to overcome? Because there's always finances, there's there's money, there's not enough money to go around. So what's that look like? So
again, going back to the staff of 4, we don't have certain, like we all wear a million hats here. So I can be going to pack a diaper order while Jana's doing a grant, and then Justin's delivering comfort kits. So like we are always doing a million things. So sometimes, and there's grants out there, there's money available, there's people that want to help, but you have to be able to do the legwork and really look for it and dig deep into those solutions to find. So I think every nonprofit right now, especially during COVID, everyone was really struggling in a lot of ways, and being able to find resources available. You just, sometimes it's just time. There's not always enough time to find things that are available. So we try to make donating very easy for people. We want people to get involved how they want to get involved. So if you want to donate money, that's amazing. If you want to collect birthday gifts at your child's birthday party and donate to us, that's great. Like, we don't ever say no to help. So we try to offer people several different ways that they can get involved, whether it's hosting a diaper bank or a diaper drive or any sort of collection. So we're just very grateful for people wanting to get involved on any level.
What is the need right now for your organization?
So we're getting into the holiday season. Every year we match up local families and local businesses for businesses or local families to adopt other families in the community. So far I've matched up about 115 families, which is amazing. And I think this morning when I looked, it's about 350 children that are going to be receiving a Christmas this year because of other people in our community, which is unbelievable. So Holiday Adopt a Family program, we're in full swing right now. We're pretty fortunate since this program's been going on as long as it has, that we get such a draw. There's just always need and more families that can be helped through it. So if people are interested in programs like that, they can reach out to us. Again, diapers are always going to be our number one. It's just a problem that unfortunately is not seem to be going away. So I would say those are kind of the big things we're focusing on right now.
I appreciate you taking time. How can someone donate or get involved or even get in contact with you?
Sure. We have a really, really user-friendly website that kind of has everything drawn out that you'd like to know, whether it's volunteering, donating. We actually just started our volunteer days back up again, which was so nice to have people back. Our website is www.projectmkc.org. And you can reach us at 330-758-3434 if you had any additional questions too.
Shelly, I appreciate you taking time. I know you guys are busy getting ramped up for the holidays.
Definitely. Yeah. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. At the end of each show, I like to kind of ask some rapid fire, personal, professional questions. Answer is there. In my opinion, there's no right or wrong answer.
Okay.
Persons. So I have 3 questions for you, real quick. Best accomplishment.
I think just seeing our numbers where they are now, it's outrageous that a staff of 4 people are distributing their 4 millionth diaper. I think that's just outrageous. So I think that's pretty fantastic.
Okay, yeah, because trust me, I know how fast we go through diapers.
Right. Yeah.
Who's your role model?
My mother.
Okay.
100%.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, last question. If there was one person you would want to meet, past or present, who would it be and why?
Oh gosh. I have no idea.
Harder questions than what I asked earlier.
I know, and I don't even know if I have a proper answer to that. I really don't know. I feel like I'd have to sit down and really contemplate that.
Well, I will say this. We'll let you think about that.
Okay. Deal.
Okay. Now, I know from past experience, you'll be thinking about that for the next week.
Yeah, I believe it. I know. You asked that you're spitting rapid fire questions at like an anxious human. So I'm like getting ready to sweat over here.
You're fine. But I appreciate your time, Shelly. Stay on.
So much.
Stay on. Thank you, everyone. We'll be profiling more nonprofits. Have a great night. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Spanning the Need, Stories of Your Lifestyle. As we continue to spotlight nonprofits in our area, we're here with John Muckridge, the CEO of the Rescue Mission of the Mahoning Valley. John, thanks for joining me today.
Hey, thanks for having me, brother.
It's been a while, a lot going on during the holidays. We're coming up on Thanksgiving and Giving Tuesday, and we're here to talk about your organization, the Rescue Mission of Mahoning Valley, which has been very busy the last 2 or 3 years with everything going on. Let's start out. Talk about how you got started with the organization.
Yeah, so I worked in the banking industry. I got fired from my job in the bank, and I had unemployment for a while. And I had a master's degree that I wasn't quite sure. I didn't want to jump into the first gig that came my way. So I figured, let me take my time and interview at a couple of different places since I had unemployment for a few months. And while I'm interviewing, I could probably go volunteer somewhere. And then a commercial for the Rescue Mission came on the TV. So I came down, and my intent was to help folks with GEDs, help folks with practicing with interviewing skills, developing resumes. And then I started sitting in staff devotions, and there was 2 pastors here that were teaching through the Bible verse by verse. Had never had that before, had gone to church, but had never been taught the Bible. And the Lord just kind of used that to kind of change everything in my life. And then a position in the Learning Center came on. And then over the course of several years, the Lord kind of moved me throughout the ministry, equipping me for serving in this capacity. So that's kind of how that happened.
Bumping you around a little bit.
Yeah.
Not knowing what are you doing to me type of scenario.
Exactly, man. I look back and I think that's exactly what was necessary so that I could understand how the organization operates from a organizational structure standpoint and workflow, so that I was able to have the knowledge, the wisdom, by His grace to design the new facility and then lay it out. And, He used me to build it. So that's kind of, as I look back, it's like seeing His sovereign hand in the whole process is incredible.
Tell us a lot of people know the Rescue Mission because of your new building and some other things, but I think what people may not know is all the services that you guys do. They may see this, and this when it's cold out. You guys house as much as you can and stuff. So talk about what your nonprofit does.
Sure. So let me start with our purpose statement. There are 3 components to the purpose statement. The first is to proclaim the gospel of Jesus Christ. We recognize that we don't primarily have physical needs only. We have spiritual needs. That all of us have sinned, fallen short of the glory of God. We deserve the wrath and punishment for our sin, and to be separated from Him forever. Christ comes, takes that punishment on Himself. And by faith alone in him, we're forgiven and set free and brought into a relationship with our Creator. All of us kind of want to do our own thing. We want to live our own lives. We want to be the king and ruler of our own lives. And it isn't until we come in submission to the Creator and his Son that was on the cross and took the punishment for ourselves, our spiritual needs met. So that's our primary focus. It's been that way since 1893. God has used this ministry for over 120 some years. With that being our primary purpose. The second is to promote accountability. What we've learned is in order to help folks grow out of homelessness, they have to be held accountable to certain expectations. We don't just want to give folks a handout only, because giving folks a handout on a consistent basis, what that does is that keeps them in that cycle of dependence upon that hand. So we want to develop programs that increase accountability. We have expectations that our clients are to meet in order to continue to stay and progress through the programs here. For example, you can't be high, you can't be drunk staying at the mission. If you are working and you have an income coming in, you have to save a certain percentage of that income in an account that we administer. And when you move out, we cut you a check for everything that you've saved so that you have a financial safety net, because we're trying to teach people how to save money in that regard. If somebody is capable and able to work, but they're currently unemployed, part of the expectations for them to stay at the mission is they have to go look for employment. And so in order to equip them to do that, we have different curriculum from interviewing to filling out applications, developing resumes, those kinds of techniques and skills that one needs to be successful in the interviewing process. So we offer those services here as well to help people, equip them to meet the expectations that we put, on them. And then the third would be to provide food and emergency shelter. We have 186 beds here. Last night we had 142 people sleeping here. I think there were 31 of them who were children as a part of a family. Here, either with a mom or a dad, or a mom and a dad, a whole family unit staying here at the rescue mission. So we're providing shelter to those folks as well. And then for food, we do breakfast, lunch, and dinner for all of our men's service clients, all of our women and families clients, as well as anybody in the public. They can come down to the mission and grab a meal as well. I think last year we did over 60-some thousand meals here at the rescue mission here in Youngstown.
What's your most successful program, and why do you think it is?
Well, I think if you go back to the purpose statement, the primary purpose would be to proclaim the gospel. So I think as we sow seeds, the Bible tells us that our job is to sow seeds. God's the one who gives the growth. So from a success standpoint, when it comes to those things, we just want to be faithful to the Lord and to what the Bible actually says and stand firm on that truth in love, but stand firm. And so I'd say success in that regard, in that purpose, would be to stay faithful in proclaiming the good news of Christ. The success in the promoting accountability would be to walk folks through that. And if folks choose not to submit to those rules, to those expectations, we have a course of several meetings over a course of several weeks. And so sometimes success for an individual is they finally come into submission to what we're asking them to do to stay here. They find a job, they save money, and they move out to a house that they are able to rent. Or we had a guy who stayed with us for 18 months. He walked in with the clothes on his back, walked out with enough money. He bought a house free and clear in Youngstown because he had a plan and he was working his process. But the reality of the situation too, brother, is that there are folks who just say, no, I'm not going to follow these rules. I'm not interested in doing it. And success in that regard is simply saying, listen, man, you have to understand, if you're choosing not to follow these expectations, you're just choosing not to stay here. And so it's kind of holding the line in love, in grace, but in truth, because we want to continue to maintain the hand up and not just be a handout for folks.
Well, and I think you've kind of hit on as that was a great example, someone that has been there 18 months to buy a house. And what does that look like when you look at that, of what your organization works to make a difference? You look at what that example is, that you're like, wow, look what happened, what we can do.
Yeah, I mean, and it's such a complex conversation too, man. Like part of that look what the Lord's doing here at the Rescue Mission does include having to have hard conversations with folks, right? So, for example, you have a mom with 3 kids staying here, but then you have another individual who is staying here who is extremely violent and aggressive and terrifies the children that are staying here, for example, or even the mom or other clients. So part of that success is also in love and in grace addressing those behavioral issues, which could result in the individual choosing to dismiss themselves in an attempt to help maintain a safe and secure environment for those other 100 and some people so that they can thrive and they can grow and be successful. So it's kind of it's a two-sided coin that we, by God's grace, and him providing us with wisdom and clarity and patience in that, and an amazing staff that we have. That's another example of that.
Is there anything that you wish more people knew about your organization or the issues you're trying to solve?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, anybody who wants to donate to the Rescue Mission, I encourage them to come down here first, right? They've worked hard for their money. They are called to be good stewards of their money. I am going to be responsible for the money that the Lord gives me, and I need to be a good steward of it. So wherever I'm sending this money and giving this money, I want to make sure that it's doing specific things. So I encourage people to come down, take a tour, and really get an idea of what it looks like, so that they're better equipped to make those decisions.
What are some of the main obstacles that stand between you and your mission, and how do you plan to overcome that? Because there is a lot of things in the valley.
Big obstacles. So right now we have limited staff. We have, I think mental illness is significant as well. I think we're seeing that grow. And so it's being able to kind of work through those things, again, with grace, with love, but in truth, and helping to serve the individual at the same time, understanding that the individual impacts the rest of the folks that are living here, and trying to maintain a safe and secure environment. Another obstacle, I'd say probably our biggest one, is our public meals. We have folks coming in off the streets, breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day of the week, and there have been some pretty aggressive behaviors, pretty violent interactions. And so there have been, there's a need for security. There's a need for police officers or deputies in the sheriff's department to come and kind of partner with us and help provide that. But the reality of the matter is, from what we've been told, soup kitchens across the valley kind of have this issue across the board. But ultimately, we're trusting the Lord and deploying measures that we think are wise, and trusting Him for the results.
What is the need right now for your organization? As we talk here between now and kind of the holiday season, what is the biggest need right now?
Yeah, from a financial standpoint, these months carry our entire year, essentially, right? This is the prime season for giving. The monies that come in October, November, December, January, February, even when we get into winter, that the funding in those months carry us in the Junes, Julys, and Augusts, right? And so from a financial standpoint, these are critical months, because it's not just supplying us with the money we need to keep the building operational and serving those that come in the door in those months, but also for the entire year.
How can someone donate or get more involved?
Yeah, they can give us a call down here at the Rescue Mission. It's 330-744-5485. Hop on our website. It's rescuemissionmv.org, and they can donate through that. Or even just coming down for a tour, they can call and speak to our mission ambassador. Her name is Crystal Ekman, and she can set up a tour and have folks kind of see exactly, what's happened here, what the Lord has done, and kind of really get a good idea of what services and what kind of an environment the homeless population in the valley are blessed to be able to stay in and grow out of homelessness in.
John, I appreciate you taking time. I know it's busy season right now. At the end of each show, I like to ask some fun questions to kind of have the public get to know you. So you ready?
Absolutely, man. Bring it.
What's your best accomplishment?
Oh, my best accomplishment.
It could be personal or professional. It doesn't matter. There's really no perfect answer. It's what your answer is.
Yeah, man. All right. So my answer is this, man. As I've grown in understanding what the Bible teaches, I recognized and realized that I am a tool in the hands of the carpenter, right? So just like somebody who is sculpting a masterpiece out of marble, you don't go to the hammer or to the chisel and say, man, you did a really good job, right? You go to the artist. Or if somebody's building something, you don't go to the hammer or the nail or the saw and say, man, you did a good job. You go to the carpenter and you say, man, you're really good, carpenter. And so that's, as I've grown in understanding what the Bible teaches and who Christ really is, I recognize that I'm a tool, man. And in several different levels, I'm a tool. But in the hands of the carpenter. So I would say that my desire is to just remain in his hands and to be wielded and used by him how he sees fit.
Who's your role model?
Well, the one that I just spoke about, right? The one that I want to be like. I know that what God is doing with those that are his, that are in Christ, he's making us like Christ. That's what the Bible teaches. And that's called sanctification. And so he's the one that I desire to please and ultimately one day hopefully be more like, recognizing that I have sinned where he never did.
And that's so this will be an interesting answer this will be probably the same answer. If there was one person you'd want to meet, past or present, who would it be and why?
Oh yeah, man, I can't wait to stand before the King of Kings, man. That's the one. To bow before his throne and to hear him say, well done, good and faithful servant. I look forward to that moment. And that's the answer, my man.
Nothing wrong with that. John, stay on. Thank you for joining us, for John Muttridge, the CEO of the Rescue Mission of the Mahoning Valley, as we continue to showcase and profile local nonprofits in our area. If anyone wants to see more, you can go to spanningtheneed.com. Have a good night, everyone. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Spanning the Need. As we continue to spotlight nonprofits in our area, stories of your lifestyle, we're here with Greg Borio, for the board member of the Walnut Grove. Greg, thanks for joining us.
Of course. Thanks so much for having me.
We talk a lot about nonprofits in the area, and we know there's a lot of them and a lot of great ones. So we're trying to showcase the ones. And there's so many great ones. Talk about how you got involved with the Walnut Grove.
Sure. So actually, my path to the Walnut Grove came out of fundraising. I was invited by a friend who was a part of the board to, hey, can you come to this event and support this inclusive, accessible playground over in Canfield? And I said, yeah, I'll come to your event. And I fell in love with it. Not only just that from that event standpoint, but when you sit there at the event, you're always presented with those feel-good stories. You're seeing the impacts that are being made in the community. So to hear about the Walnut Grove from 2013, when a bunch of residents and local business owners got together to found the nonprofit organization, to then moving forward to 2018 and 19, when phases 1 and 2 of the playground were completed. With my background, Tony, it was one of those near and dear components to my heart, a place where children can come together of all abilities and discover and learn through play with one another. That's how I got involved. And from there, about a year or so later, I was asked to join the board and be a part of sort of the fundraising end of things. And now all encompassing, board member for the Walnut Grove.
And we talk about how Walnut Grove in Canfield, it's one of those nonprofits that people may or may not know. So talk about what the nonprofit actually does, because people are like, well, what's the Walnut Grove?
Sure. So it is an all-inclusive playground. So designed for children of all abilities, children with special needs, and their friends, their peers, their siblings, their families to be able to come together and access playground equipment. If you think about some traditional playground equipment over the course of time, children with special needs, whether, fine, gross motor abilities, might needing special assistance and things like that, it becomes very inaccessible in a lot of those traditional types of playgrounds. So the Walnut Grove was put there in Canfield as a way to promote accessibility, promote universal design, and just promote those opportunities for children, all abilities, all backgrounds, needs, to be able to come together with their friends and their families to play at a playground.
And we talk about that, what Walnut Grove really is, and talk about probably one of the most successful programs that you guys have done with this organization, because it's trust me, it's a monster of a project when you first started.
It has been, and you've been supportive of the Walnut Grove over the course of the years, and we certainly appreciate that. I do have to mention that our board of directors are all volunteers. So all individuals who are local business leaders, individuals in education and business and other areas who are working together as volunteers to maintain and support this playground. That's probably the biggest need overall and kind of overarching in general, because like you alluded to, Tony, it takes a lot, not only to fundraise the money to install the equipment, but then to maintain a playground. We brought installed bathrooms within the past 3 months, which was a big task and a long awaited task, but through COVID and materials and supply and demand and all of those components, it just took us a little bit longer. We knew that was a much needed component. And it's a success, but you got to maintain that space. You got to make sure that there's toilet paper in the bathroom, that they're clean, that they're usable, as well as all of the playground equipment. We want people to come there and play hard. That's going to wear things down. So that, it's this volunteer board and truly the community, individuals, organizations who lend a hand and help and continue to support from a maintenance standpoint, from a donor and a fundraising standpoint, and sort of, all of the above. But our big project that we're just now starting to announce and get out there and beginning some fundraising with is we are working to purchase and install a wheelchair accessible swing. That is something that has been in the talks for years and truly a need for our community and for this area. So that's a current project that we are undertaking in terms of our fundraising and development needs.
Through your stint as a board member, as just kind of looking over the whole picture, do you have a good example on the way that you've seen the organization work and make a difference?
Yeah, it probably completely resonated with me when I became a dad, because, I go there with my two boys now. I have an almost 2-year-old and a 5-year-old, and my wife and I take them to the Walnut Grove as a playground. That's where we meet other friends in the area. It becomes that meeting space. And, when with a background of children and special needs and special education, I love it. I like to take my children there. I like to have those discussions with my 5-year-old about, why this playground works and why it's there for everyone. And, answer those 5-year-old questions every once in a while. Why does that, child maybe look a little bit different than me, or why do they, and to be able to have those true, open, meaningful discussions with my own children. And I think that's kind of where I have seen it now come full circle. So aside from Greg Borio, the educator, the board member, the executive director, all of those different hats in the community, Greg Borio dad gets to also see the Walnut Grove's impact, and it doesn't come easy. We talk with accessibility comes inclusion and acceptance, integration, and looking at diverse backgrounds and all of those are heavy topics, and sometimes deep philosophical discussions that people have varying degrees of understanding. People have varying degrees of beliefs in some of those areas. So in having a park like this, it truly is a task, because it's not only about the playground equipment, but it's also about sort of growing that that belief, that philosophy, that understanding across the community as well.
Is there anything that you wish people knew about your organization or the issues that you're trying to solve?
You know, how incredibly hard the board works, and how appreciative we are as a board of directors for the people who access the Walnut Grove, for people that volunteer their time, their talents, you know, their financial means, whatever that is, for people that choose the Walnut Grove to get together with a bunch of friends on a Saturday morning. We're grateful for all of those things. But because it's about equipment, because it's about maintenance, because it's about growing beliefs and understanding and educating people on what acceptance and inclusion and special needs are in our community, it's a reciprocal piece. Like, talk to us, engage us, allow us the opportunity to learn from your standpoint, from your beliefs, from your perceptions, so then we can grow too. We're not going to be able to continue to grow as a playground and as an organization unless we truly set up those mechanisms for communication and in that light.
What are some of the, I mean, we've talked a lot about different functions of the board and what kind of goes behind the scenes. What are some of the main obstacles that kind of stand between you and your mission, and how do you kind of overcome that? Because there is a lot that goes into the Walnut Grove playground.
Again, tremendous amount of support from the community. It's been there, you know, from 2013 to the present. I think when we're dealing with equipment and installation and processes and trying to grow that component of the Walnut Grove, you know, I mentioned it earlier with the bathrooms. You're dealing, you know, we've learned a lot over the past few years and coming out of a pandemic globally in terms of cost, you know, supply and demand, and those general processes, and the amount of time, even when funds have been raised and materials have been purchased, it might have been purchased for a very long time, but from that purchase standpoint to maybe installation and seeing some of those results, that can be tough. And we understand that as a board. It's, you know, have a raffle and a fundraiser or this and that, and we say, hey, we raised the funds and we're going to do this now. People want to be able to see the outcome of that. We want to be able to provide that.
And I think you have that good platform, and you have that good platform because it's like, here it is, voila.
Right, absolutely.
And so what is, so as we're 2 weeks away, 3 weeks away from Giving Tuesday, we're in the holiday season. It gets cold out, a lot of different things going on, moving parts. What is the need right now for your organization?
You know, like I mentioned, our big fundraising endeavors for the upcoming year and next year are going to be fundraising for this wheelchair swing, and to get that installed at the Walnut Grove ASAP. So then, you know, children who utilize a wheelchair are going to be able to access a swing and, you know, play alongside their siblings and their friends in a similar way as other children are able to at the Walnut Grove. So we're going to be rolling out a raffle, a winter raffle here. I know my raffle tickets were just dropped off at my house yesterday to begin selling, and, you know, check us out on social media, on Facebook and Instagram, and our website and everything, because there'll be ways to access, you know, and purchase those tickets that way. But it's a, you know, $10 ticket, 5 chances to win from we bought one of those Bartesian cocktail mixers, perfect time in the holiday season here. All the way down to, I think,
keep that away from some people we know.
Yeah, but all the way down to cash and lottery tickets. There's 5 chances to win jewelry, and a golf package as well. And hopefully we'll have some announcements coming out soon for our Swing Wine and Dine in 2023 as well.
Okay. And so if someone wants to donate or they want to get more involved, where do they go?
Check us out, thewalnutgrove.com. Check us out on Facebook, and there are ways to access and make donations that way. You ask a question. Again, we have those mechanisms built in through social media. If you are looking to, I want to donate money for something specific, is this something you're interested in? Again, just begin that dialogue with us, begin that communication. And, we certainly appreciate everyone's support.
Greg, I appreciate you taking time. I know it's a busy season for everyone.
Sure.
At the end of each show, I like to ask some fun questions so people can kind of get to know you more. You ready?
Sure. Yeah, let's go.
What's your best accomplishment?
Oh, being a dad.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, we were talking about that before we went on. That's it, man.
Okay. Who's your role model?
Mr. Rogers.
Okay. Nothing wrong with
Grew
that.
up in Pittsburgh. It's been a thing for a long time. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. Okay. Last question. If there was one person you'd want to meet, past or present, who would it be and why?
Oh gosh, that Rolodex. I feel like there's so many, Tony.
Well, you could. Like I said, past or present. You could have one or two. It's just not. I mean, I've had some people have listed a whole bunch.
Yeah. Although I have seen him, and prior to his passing away when I was a young kid, I didn't meet Mr. Rogers. I've read everything. I've been to the studios, all of those sorts of things. To sit down and engage in a conversation with him, but I would want that conversation with certain people. Like I want that conversation with my mom and dad, and maybe a couple of my grandparents that are no longer here, and my siblings and my children. Like I'd very much want that, not just to be me and Fred, but kind of like my tribe and Fred.
Well, great. Greg, thank you for taking your time. I know you'll be busy with the Walnut Grove over the holiday season, and we wish you nothing but the best.
Thanks so much, Tony.
If you want to see more shows, podcasts, or events, please go to spanningtheneed.com as we continue to profile nonprofits. Greg, stay on, everyone. Have a great night.